The next part of this is the hard part. This is what the parts that people who are these gurus don't really talk about, right? They don't talk about this because everyone wants to be all this like happy-go-lucky person, and the truth is that not everything is happy. You need to stop letting the misery of your past rob you from the joy of your future or the joy of your now. I think we get so preoccupied with the things that have happened to us before that we let those things become like the center, the crux of our life, and we never move forward. We never move into anything deeper. Maybe someone mishandled your heart. Maybe somebody treated you a certain way. Maybe you did something stupid in your past. But if that thing continues to be the hold of what you are, you will never be who you're meant to be. Like your life will never be the fullness that it can be because you're so busy missing out on good things, focusing on that bad thing. And like there's just like this huge movement of people who make this like bold claim that you can change your whole life in 30 days. And honestly, it's true, but it's not what you think. Like the thing is that we can give ourselves 30 days to create something. First of all, that's a big myth, right? The myth is that you can change your whole life, you can create a new habit or destroy an old habit in 21 days, right? That's what that's saying is. It's actually closer to 3 months, but studies show that within 30 days of commitment to something, your life can actually begin the process of changing, right? Because it's a discomfort thing. Like think about going to the gym, right? Something that I've been really diving into intentionally the last couple of months, and it's become a lot easier now than it was the first week, the first 2 weeks. But the commitment to something creates this process that helps us then grow, right? We go into these next steps. The truth is that it's not easy, right? It's not something as easy as all these people want to make the claim, but the simplicity of the principles of it is. Like right now, we can dive into this, and by the end of this very video or this podcast or wherever you're listening or watching, things can be completely different. Literally, like it's just so simple yet so complex that it's like it's hard for me to just push it there. There's so much stuff that we have access to, yet we choose not to use it because we've been imprinted with this like reality or this thought of laziness, right? There's this just we think we have the status quo. That's our big thing that we take away, to keep the status quo, to keep doing the things that you were doing. The reality is that a lot of people won't take this step. Like you'll hear this or you'll watch this and you will do nothing about it. You might even exit out or close this right now because that's it. Like statistically speaking, podcasts, right, your videos or anything that social media wise, statistically speaking, 80% of people, 80% don't take the first step. They'll do one thing and they won't do anything after. So like they'll make the podcast, they'll start the YouTube channel, they'll start posting on social media, and when they don't like explode, they think, oh well, that's it, I'm done. 80% give up after step one. If you do more than step one, you're better than 80% already. And it's the reality that you have to compete with yourself. This is why these people don't start. So what does this look like? The first portion is struggling to start. Like the 30 days that all these people claim and all these like influencers and motivational gurus and believe it or not, science actually backs a lot of this up. The struggle is starting. It's all right. Perfect example, right? I hate cleaning my room, right? There's a process of cleaning my room that is just like, I'll do laundry and I have a chair where the laundry will sit there and just stare at me and just like make me contemplate life. But what I started doing is simply starting. Like when I say simply starting, I'll get up and I'll put one thing away. And this creates like this snowball effect where everything else becomes easy because I began the process through a simple task that everything else made it so much easier to go. Make your life easier. Whatever that thing you're struggling to start with, make it a simple process. Make it a simple task. If it's let's just take this example. Say you wanted to start a podcast. You wanted to start recording. You wanted to go and create social media stuff. Okay, cool. Where is your setup? Like, what does it look like? Where are you putting things? Is there a place that is going to motivate you and make you do the thing? If you have to make the process harder, you won't do it. You just won't. Because if it's like you have everything put away, you have your camera hidden, you have your microphones hidden, whatever that might be, you won't go through the next steps of putting everything out because that's an extra step that's going to stop you from doing the thing that you're already too tired or too lazy to do. So starting with the little things, the little tangible things that you can put in position in places are going to make everything so much easier. People struggle to start not because they don't know where, but because they don't give themselves a push to do it. Start today. These next 30 days, if you were to start something, let's say you have a goal, let's say you want to lose weight, right? If these next 30 days you begin to do little tangible things every single day that will snowball into a bigger effect, everything is going to change. You're not going to stay the same. It's impossible. Well, it's literally, it's physically impossible. Like, you won't stay the same because you've done little things that you can measure throughout this time frame that will show you. And the beauty is that once those things are in one, it becomes easier, snowball effect. It becomes easier to do because you're already in a pattern, in a routine. And two, you'll be motivated by the outcome. Like, the outcome itself is going to motivate you to want to do better because you're going to look back and say, man, I was there 30 days ago and this is where I'm at now. Now, when we want to get deeper in this, when we talk about changing our lives completely, and we begin a process like this, right? Maybe you want to venture into something that's entrepreneurial. Maybe you want to begin and start a business. Maybe whatever that might look like. And then you make your life easier by setting up these tangible things that you can do. The next part of this is the hard part. This is what the parts that people who are these gurus don't really talk about, right? They don't talk about this because everyone wants to be all this like happy-go-lucky person. And the truth is that not everything is happy. There's a struggle, and the struggle can be good. There's an old saying that says that the struggle shows you who are the people you need, right? Like the successes will show you who are the people that want to be around. The struggles will show you who are the people you need. As you change your life, as you choose to follow this path, as you choose to go whatever that looks like, those 30 days or whatever that time frame might be that later on pushes off, right? Because 30 days really just sets a foundation. Everything else spews from that. But the reality is that this people don't talk about this is that you lose people. Like, the people that are around you that you thought that you could count on, you could rely on, those people can't go to the place that you're desiring to go next. Why? Because they're content with being less. And I've had this conversation with a friend, and we're just talking about how we can't expect to want to be better and have to carry the weight of people who are dead weight. And I got to be clear, it doesn't mean you stop loving people. It doesn't mean you stop supporting people. You have to start realizing that not everyone supports your vision. Like, they weren't given your vision. The dreams that you have, they weren't given your dreams. This is why they look at you and say you're crazy, because they can't, in their mind, they can't process something that was meant to be processed by you. And unfortunately, they don't talk about losing people. And they also don't talk about this next point, which is dying to yourself. They don't talk about losing the comfort of who you used to be, because it's scary. It's scary to say that I don't know who I am now and going to much less know who I am later. The irony is that as you do better, as you progress, as you become that person you desire to be, as you go into that career you desire to go into, as you just genuinely become a better person, you feel more fulfilled. Like, your life feels more purposeful. And the old you has to die away, and that's a painful process. Because that also means that you have to die away to like old relationships that you had, to old connections you've made, to old habits you've created. Those things are the first things that die, right? Because if these new habits are going to flourish, we can't repot a plant in a soil that's not fruitful, right? That's not going to give us growth. We can't do that. It just won't happen. In dead soil, this plant won't grow, no matter how much water you put in it. But when you're repotted in better soil, you're going to flourish. But it's going to be some getting used to. The old you has to die away. And this is the big point, the big one that they don't talk about. It's easy to make all of these like huge claims, you'll be this and that, and you'll be joyful in this. But the one that people don't really want to focus on is that even after you've accomplished these things, even after you've hit those goals, it still feels like you need to keep working. Like, you don't ever feel fully fulfilled. Because again, one big trait, or two actually very common things that extremely successful people have, that studies show us these two things that are extremely successful people have. They have two things. They have one, the superiority complex, right, where they feel like they can be better, that they are better than the average person, and they are by definition, right? It doesn't mean that they feel like everyone's below them, but they have the work ethic and they have the motivation and the drive to do the things that the common person wouldn't do. They use their foundation, their that little part that they put, that snowball effect, they use that part, and they became something that most people can't become. Well, sorry, most people can become. Most people won't become, right? Just not because you can doesn't mean you will. And then second one is that they have crippling insecurity. That they feel like they're not doing enough. That despite feeling like they've been better than most people, they also feel like they're not enough. They're not living to the potential they can be. And now I got to be clear. There is that reality that's unhealthy, right? That's an unhealthy thought. It's an unhealthy reality. So we can't stay stuck on those things, but it's also a driving factor. I think that a lot of the things that we go through, the emotions that we go through, it's not about how we feel them, it's about how we use them. Like anger, right? You could be angry and you could be so frustrated, you could be so mad, but if you don't know how to channel that better, actually, if you don't know how to channel that anger, all that thing is going to do, it's going to take over you, right? It's going to be your driving factor. If you don't know how to channel your fear, your anxiety, if you don't know how to put it in a place that's going to help you grow, let's just throw an example in there, right? You're very angry, you just got dumped, right? And then you hate this person now, that you make you feel so mad, and you're just angry. You can go and slash their tires. Please don't do that. This is not advice. Do not go slash anyone's tire. But you can go and do that. You can go and lash out in a dumb way. Or you can use that anger and go to the gym. Go put on some 50 Cent. Feel like you're a gangster. I don't know. Go do something with that anger that is going to be productive for you. Emotions are meant to be used and channeled and focused. When we let them do their own thing and control us, then they become the driver in your car. You need to know how to challenge yourself with that, but channel that. I don't know why those two words just don't want to work together. The reality is that everyone will sell you this story about how your life can be this huge thing in these couple of days, and it's so simple, and you have to just do this and do this David Goggins workout and all of these other things that everyone wants to sell you. And yes, the truth is, yes, you can do these things. The problem is that we don't understand the price that these things cost. It's one, creating and building new habits, but then there's things that are going to fall off. There's things that are going to fall away. There are people that are going to move away from you, and you have to be ready and okay with that. You have to be willing to say that the next me is going to require different people. The next me is going to require a different me. The next me is not going to respond to the hurt things that I had before. Because life is a healing journey. You're always going to be in a healing journey. And the truth about healing, the maturity about healing, is not that you're not hurt, is that you don't respond the same way that you used to. Like the triggers that you had before are no longer your triggers because they don't have that authority over you. But that's what knowing what life is. It's not easy by any means, and I don't hope that it sounds that way. But at some point, at some aspect of your life, you have to decide what you want to hurt through. You want to continue to give power to the things that have hurt you and make those things the authority, or you want to use those things as a driving factor, as a catalyst, as a place where anger no longer holds your heart, but rather motivates you to be better, motivates you to grow. It's simple, but it's hard to do.